Ryan Little.
Yo, what's up, guys? This is Raw Detroit, back at you with another one on today. Make sure you hit that subscription button. Do not miss an upload as we continue to talk about some of the hottest college prospects coming into the 2022 NFL draft class. Today, I brought with me quarterback Anthony Brown. He played for Oregon as well as Boston College, and we're going to talk about his body of work. But before we get into the Anthony Brown thing, we got to talk about the quarterback situation in Detroit, because on this channel, we're going to deal with topics that are hard to talk about, and sometimes people don't want to talk about because they start arguments and fights and things of that nature. But we just got to keep it raw, and we got to keep it 100. When it comes to the quarterback situation in Detroit, everyone knows that Jared Goff will be the quarterback next year. When the dust clears and the smoke settles, Jared Goff will be this team's starting quarterback. Now we have an issue because Tim Boyle is going to be a free agent, as well as David Blah. Now David Blah is a restricted free agent and Tim Boyle is an unrestricted free agent. Whether or not the Detroit Lions decide to bring him back is totally up to them, or whether they decide to take a quarterback in the draft is up to the Detroit Lions. What they want to do with the position. They can also go in the free agency, and we're going to talk about some of the free agent quarterbacks. I'm going to give you a long list of names that you can very well have to be your quarterback, to be a backup to Jared Goff in 2022. Now they can decide that they want to bring back Tim Boyle and David Blah, but to me personally, I would not bring either guy back. They don't really trust in David Blah, and Tim Boyle is not it. So I already know what I want to do with the situation. I want to be able to get younger, and I want to get better. Now, I know the narrative out there is saying that there is no quarterbacks in the draft, and I have to disagree with that. And I'm going to continue to disagree with it, because I'm going to give these guys the fair assessment, saying, okay, I haven't seen them play yet. I saw the class of 2021. Some of those guys get the opportunity. It wasn't the greatest, but at the same time, this class is really been getting ragged on, and they're saying that there's no quarterbacks in this draft class, period. And I don't believe that. I think that's a bunch of hogwash, and I don't think that everybody is really studying film on these quarterbacks. They're just agreeing with everything that the media has to say, and that's foolishness, man. We can't just agree with everything the media says and feeds to us and think that that's okay. It's not okay with me. I'm going to sit back and do the homework and look at these guys and say, okay, this is some of the things that they need to work on. But could I take this guy? Yes, I could take him in a later round. I don't have to draft a quarterback in the first round, because I know people keep saying the argument of taking a quarterback in the first round. You don't necessarily have to take a quarterback in the first round. The Detroit Lions have 10 picks, so you don't have to take a quarterback in the first round. You can take him in the latter rounds, or you can get an undrafted guy. Look what the Baltimore Ravens did when they took Tyler Huntley. He was undrafted. You're talking about a dude that's an undrafted quarterback that's the backup. So you can't tell me that you can't go into the draft and find a quarterback to back up Jared Goff. Yes, you can. And I'm not going to believe the lies that the media want to put out there and say that there is no quarterbacks. I'm not going to agree with it. I'm not going to ever agree with it, because I'm a person that like to do the homework myself and go and look and not believe everything that I'm being told just because somebody's saying it out of their mouth. Oh, I'm going to go check the facts. I'm going to go check the mechanics, the footwork. What do they need to work on? Are their skills raw and polished? But let's get into it. We have all these quarterbacks that are free agents that we could possibly have backing up Jared Goff in 2022. You have Jameis Winston, Teddy Bridgewater, Marcus Mariota, Mitchell Trubisky, Colt McCoy, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Jacoby Brissett, Tyrod Taylor, Andy Dalton, bring back Tim Boyle, Chad Henne, Brandon Allen, Joe Flacco, Blaine Gabbert, Mike Glennon, AJ McCarron, Chase Daniels, who we already had, We have Trevor Siemian, Joshua Dobbs, Sean Minion, Mike White, Cal Allen, Josh Rosen, John Wolford, Logan Woodside, Chris Strevler, Kurt Benkert, and David Blah you could bring back to Detroit. So you got a situation that you can pick from. The Detroit Lions have a situation where they can go however they feel. If they want to go with a free agent quarterback and bring him in and have him back up Jared Goff, they can do that. If they decide to bring back Tim Boyle and David Blah, what can we do about it? Nothing. They can do that. If the Lions decide to take a quarterback that they saw in the draft playing really, really well, they could take that quarterback. And I'm okay with that, because that quarterback can be developed. So I'm not with the notion of that it's not no quarterbacks. I would never say that, because every single season, quarterbacks come out and they're drafted every year. Yeah, it may not be the greatest class. It may not be a standout, but you never know who comes into the NFL and balls out. These guys have never suited up in the NFL, and you got to give them the benefit of the doubt. They've never played, and you're already Xing these guys out that they're no good. Well, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I'm not a believer of that. I'm going to sit back, I'm going to do the homework, and I'm going to pay attention. And if there's somebody I think that I could take that could back up Jared Goff, I'm taking them. Whether the fans like it or not, I'm taking them. So, all right, guys, that was my spiel on that. But let's go ahead and get into Anthony Brown. Now, Anthony Brown played for Boston College and Oregon. He has over 7,900 yards passing in his career, with 61 touchdowns and 27 interceptions. His completion percentage for his career is 58, which he brought it up the last season with Oregon. He brought it up to 64, so that means he made some improvements. And then on the ground, he is a dual threat quarterback as well. On the ground, he had 1,121 yards rushing with 15 touchdowns on the ground. Now, when I look at Anthony Brown, he's raw, and there's a lot of mechanics that he may need to work on. But at the same time, is he a quarterback that I can develop in the later rounds? Yes, for sure. If Baltimore can do it, I can do it too as well in Detroit. I'm not afraid of taking a quarterback. I'm not afraid of, and if this quarterback doesn't work out, guess what? I'm going to have at least 9 picks next year to take another one. So it is what it is, but we have to give these guys an opportunity. I think that this kid is raw. Brown has a natural feel for extending plays and has a good arm. Now, I'm not saying that he has the strongest arm out of the quarterbacks, but his arm is good. He has good arm strength. Needs to get better with his decision making. Most of these quarterbacks that are coming to the draft, none of these guys are perfect, guys. A lot of these guys need to get better with their decision making, being able to read defenses better, and be able to process things quicker and more consistent. That's what they need to do. And I definitely think that Anthony Brown is a guy that I would develop. If I wanted to take a quarterback and this guy was out there, and I'm like, very interesting, man. This dude has played phenomenal. He did a lot of, his body of work in college is pretty decent. He played pretty good when I saw him. He did good at the combine, or wherever he got the invitation to, he played well at. Why don't I give him a chance? Why don't I bring him in? If he's an undrafted guy, if he goes undrafted, why don't I bring him in and give him a chance? You never know, guys. We have to quit thinking that we can't get the talent. We can get an undrafted guy to be a quarterback for us. You don't necessarily have to draft a quarterback. You can get an undrafted quarterback and bring him in. Now, when it comes to Brown's projection, I think that this dude will be taken probably in either the later rounds, or he will probably be undrafted. And do I think that the Lions could develop him? Yes. Are the Lions great at developing quarterbacks? No. But they need to start getting better. We got a new regime, and we got people in here, guys like Mark Brunell, who can work with these quarterbacks and get them better. Get them better with their anticipation on the field, being poised in the pocket, Things that you need to do when you're quarterback in the NFL. Being able to control that arm string, not overthrowing guys. Your pocket presence and awareness. Being able to have that. Knowing when to run and not to run. Working on your mechanics, your footwork. All goes hand in hand to develop a quarterback, guys. The mobility that this kid plays with. You gotta love it, man. I just think that the Detroit Lions, I'm not saying that they're gonna draft Anthony Brown, guys, so don't get me misconstrued on it. What I'm saying is that the Lions need to take talent. Talent trumps everything. We need talent in Detroit if we want to start winning games. And I don't want to come out with the prediction of what the Lions are going to do next season. I want to see them do it. Yeah, they could go off and win 6 to 10 games or whatever, but they got to do it. Yeah, we could be finally get the North title, but they still have to do it. It's easier said than done for us just to be, as fans, talking about what the Lions will be doing, what their record is going to be next year and things of that nature, because we ultimately don't know what their record is going to be. All we're doing is predicting what we think it's going to be. If the Lions play their cards right and they draft right this season, yes, they can win a lot of games this season. You got a lot of experience for the younger guys, and that's what you need. Can they develop a quarterback? They're going to have to learn how to. Even if it's not Anthony Brown, if it's another quarterback, if they decide to take a Malik Willis, if they decide to take a Sam Howell, if they decide to take a Carson Strong, if they decide to take a Kenny Pickett or whoever they desire to take, because they can do whatever they please to do, they can do it. We as the fans have to just sit back and say, okay, they decided to take that guy. But there are some quarterbacks in this draft, and you have to give these guys a fair assessment. I can't wait to see the Senior Bowl because I want to see how these guys play. I want to see how they perform in front of pressure. That's going to be pressure. You know, because you got quarterbacks that's challenging you. Everybody is trying to raise their stock. When you're playing in the Senior Bowl, you're trying to raise your stock up. When you're playing in the East-West Shrine All-Star game and the Senior Bowl All-Star game, you're trying to raise your value and your stock, and you're trying to get drafted higher. Will there be quarterbacks taken in the first round? Of course they will. There's teams that need quarterbacks, and I can't blame them for taking a quarterback. Will some of these guys have an opportunity to start? Of course they will. It's all about competition. When you get to the NFL, it's always been about competition. When you're in high school, it's always been about competition. When you're in college, it's always been about competition. You're going to compete with somebody, and you can't run from that. The only thing that you can do is go out there and perform and do your best and let the chips fall where they may. But I'm not going to sit here and believe that there's no quarterbacks in this draft. I'm not going to believe it. I'm not going to say that next season, and I'm not going to say that in 2024 or 2025. Quarterbacks come out every year, and we just got to keep it raw, and we got to keep it real, and that's what we got to do. So I'm out of here.